All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast. I'm your host, Rick Shiels, here with co-host Guy. It is the day after the 2026 PGA Championship. I'm going to admit something.
Go on.
I bloody loved it last night. I bloody loved it. We slag off the PGA Championship, something rotten.
Correct.
It is our least favourite major. We talk about it all the time. Maybe the format should change. Maybe it will. Who knows? I'll be honest, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, bit of a snooze fest, wasn't it? I wasn't dead into it. It seemed a bit, I don't know, the golf course was bloody hard, a lot of players. I don't personally like seeing players struggle. I really don't. It's just, I know a lot of people do. But from the last 10 holes yesterday, I could not turn away from the action. And what an amazing finish for Aaron Rai. The first English player to win since 1919.
What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
How did you do that so sly?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, my rain gloves.
Guy has just unveiled his hands from underneath the desk suspiciously, and he is fashioning two tailor-made rain gloves in homage to Aaron Rai.
He's inspired me.
I think he's inspired a lot of people.
What a tournament. You're right. I was very much going into this. It didn't feel like a major. It didn't feel like a major week. Let's be honest. You know, the week before the Masters, the week before the Open, US Open, it's all you can think about. This week felt like an elevated PGA Tour signature event, didn't it? It really did. And, you know, I think what we love about, I can't even use that's the problem though, I'm not going to use my mouse, these gloves on. What we love about golf, really, in its best, is stories, isn't it? You want stories, and I think we either want somebody to go on and win and further cement themselves in the history books, i.e. if Rory won, or John Rahm won, or if Jordan Spieth finally got over the line and got that career Grand Slam. But I honestly believe the next best thing to that, or even actually better than that, was Aaron Rai. What an amazing win. We'll come on to it in so much depth. Obviously, you've got some history kind of connected kind of to Aaron Rai. We've talked before, but I think we'll talk about it again, the iron head cover story, the two glove story, his kind of humble beginnings. I didn't realise until last night, genuinely, how much of a fan I was of Aaron Rai. I've always kind of quite liked him. He comes across a very nice guy, very humble, very down-to-earth, a bit quirky in how he plays the game of golf. But last night, once he got his foot in the door and he was kind of leading, I was so rooting for him to win that this morning I feel, maybe not quite the level I would if like a Tommy won, but not far off. I'm really, really happy.
Yeah, you know what's come out of this last few days as well? And I think a lot of people knew this, but Aaron Rai's a little bit more of albeit he's been on tour for a number of years now. He's not the headline act. He's not the main star. He's quite humble and down to earth. The amount of love that's poured out for him from the last few days, just overnight, from no one other than other professionals.
Yeah.
They absolutely love him. They think he's one of the nicest guys. Not a single person doesn't like him. And you can tell, can't you? You know, he is. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of times. Like I say, I'll come on to the story of that in a moment, but just a really, really lovely guy. He works unbelievably hard. I remember when he first hit the scene, he was like the first person at the range, the last person to leave. He's very meticulous. He's very calculated. You know, his golf game has continued to get better. That back nine yesterday, after him holding that eagle putt on the ninth and then just putting on an unbelievable clinic on the back nine, wasn't easy at all. He hit almost every single fairway. He got up and down on 10 when he needed to, when he short-sided himself. He made birdie when he needed to. He put the cherry on top of the beautiful cake with that monstrous putt on 17. What's crazy about that? That was the second longest putt hold all week. It just goes to show that the greens were so difficult. Because that was a long putt, wasn't it?
That was 70 foot, I think it was.
But for that to be the second longest putt held all week seems crazy.
It was a long putt, though.
I know, but it's like, you've got how many people played in the PGA Championship? 140, 150? For on average, 3 rounds of golf, taking away the cut. And for that to be the second longest putt held all week at 70 feet seems bonkers. But obviously he did it at exactly the right time. I would have loved for him to birdie the 18th to get to 10 under and win by 4. I love the fact that the leaderboard on that back 9 was so stacked, full of fantastic talent such as John Rahm, and like you say, Justin Thomas had posted a score. You had Oberg up there, you had Cam Smith making a bit of a charge, Rory McIlroy, but then you had also a few more kind of outside names, Alex Smalley, you had Matt Smid from Germany. Like, you had so many storylines, and in many sense, you could write a storyline for every single one of those players. Like, it looked as though it was going to go to probably a playoff. I think it came up as a stat at one point. It was a 30% chance of going to a playoff. The fact he ended up winning by 3 is actually quite ridiculous. The one thing that I didn't love the golf course. I didn't love the fact it didn't present as many birdie opportunities. I think that's why, again, you go back to the Masters and the back 9 of Augusta, and it's so fantastic because you have so many iconic holes, and you have those 2 par 5s, the 13th and 15th, where so much can happen. It just felt like par was always going to do the job. The fact that Aaron Rai actually ended up shooting, 5 under back 9, 4 under back 9, he was 6 under in his final 10 holes. That's why he kind of pushed on. But I just loved, I honestly love that back 9 yesterday.
What's interesting with that, though, obviously you're not alone in saying that you want to see more birdies, but when I watch golf, it doesn't really, if someone's got a 6-foot putt and they're in contention, to me, it makes no odds if that's for a par or for a birdie, because they have to hold the putt. So I know what you're saying about you want to see more lower scores, but like, I didn't think the golf course was amazingly fun, I didn't do, but I think what I did like about it was kind of around pars. Every hole, it's like people's getting pars. And when he used the one that then stood out by making those few birdies down the stretch, I think really put him ahead of everybody else. So
I think for me, it was just that there was some times, and this is how the golf course was laid out, hitting a wedge to 25, 30 foot was considered good. Wasn't it? Like, there's a few holes yesterday where it's like, that's a great shot from there, and you think, oh, it is. But it is, of course it is. But that's not peppering the pin. That's not pitching it past and spinning it and trying to, getting it close to the hole and all these other things. And then I feel like 2-putt pars, albeit the first putt would be rolled down to 3-6 foot. And yes, sometimes you'd miss the green, you'd have a difficult par putt. It just felt like that drama, that excitement, that pitching it close, the camera angle coming in and seeing it going near the pin wasn't there a lot yesterday.
True, but with that in mind, if I said to you that before the tournament, I'm going to tell you the top 10 or top 10 and ties, and this is the names, I think you'd be happy. So Patrick Reed, Justin Rose, Got Her Up, Schauffele, Rory, Cameron Smith, Ludwig, JT, John Rahm, and Aaron Rai are all in the top 10 and ties. I think you'd think, okay, I want a bit of that.
Looking at the leaderboard, it was definitely spicy coming in the back 9. It was just, if that leaderboard was in the Masters or that leaderboard was in the Open, it just felt like the golf course was just a little bit, it didn't, when it sounds like a daft analogy, when you've got a really spicy football match, but the ref's terrible and just ruins the game a little bit. It felt a little bit like that. You had a really spicy leaderboard, but the golf course kind of like ruined it for me a little bit, but not taking anything away. It was a bloody, bloody, bloody hard golf course. And just huge congratulations to Aaron Rai. Like, I'll tell you the little bit of the backstory with Aaron. So the reason why I feel very connected with Aaron is because of 2 gentlemen by the name of Andy Proudman and Piers Ward. And Andy and Piers are the owners of Me My Golf. Now, Andy and Piers have always been fantastic with me. So they were pretty much one of the original coaching channels on YouTube. Me and My Golf have been going for 15, 16, 17 years and consistently pumping out top quality coaching content online. They have coached Aaron, because they're from the kind of same neck of the wood, from the Midlands, Wolverhampton, Birmingham way. They've coached Aaron since he was a kid. Both of them have coached him.
Since he was 10, apparently.
Since he was 10. I mean, how amazing is that? And they've continued to coach him. Both Andy and Piers now have moved to America a couple of years ago to live their wonderful California life. And they continue to follow Aaron around, coaching him. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful story. Obviously, on his cap and his shirt and his bag, he's sporting the Me and My Golf logo. And it just makes me really, really proud of the lads. They are wonderful, wonderful people. They've continued to push coaching content, and I think it kind of not solidifies or verifies, or maybe gives some a level of credibility to the fact that these two guys who are from, again, Wolverhampton, from Birmingham Way, have made this coaching content online, which sometimes coaching content online can get a little bit of criticism. But look at this. Look what they've done. They've managed to coach an individual from being 10 years old to now winning the PGA Championship. And who knows what that might do for Andy and Piers. They're still kind of young enough professional golfers where they could become huge names in tour pro coaching. A couple of new guys they might get under the wings. Who knows what's going to happen in the future. I know that's what they desire to be. They want to be kind of tour pro coaches. But really, really nice guys. And you know what? Going back again, many years ago, when I first started my YouTube golf journey, it was kind of quite a lonely place. I was there at the driving range in Manchester. There wasn't many YouTube golfers. YouTube golfers wasn't really a term. And one of the first ever people to reach out to me was Piers Ward. And he reached out to me, said, Rick, you know, it's great to see what you're doing. We've been making coaching content, which I already knew because I'd already followed their channel. We'd love to collaborate. And it was like, wow, like first time I could speak to someone about YouTube, about golf coaching, about everything else. And just, they're just really, really nice people. And I'm so happy for them that Aaron Rai has gone on now to become a major winner under their mentorship and under their guidance, which is just amazing. I didn't watch it, unfortunately. I watched his. Did he mention him at all?
Yes, that was brilliant. He said. He obviously wants to thank his wife, who's also an LPGA player. And his mum and dad, who obviously been instrumental in his career and helping him practice. And it was really. You should watch it after. I
was hoping that I stayed for the winning speech, and it was more of a winning interview.
Yeah,
wasn't it, from Amanda? I felt like I'd have loved that opportunity for him to proper sit there with a mic and actually express everything. Is that what he did in the press conference?
Exactly, in his press conference. About a 20-minute long video.
Oh, I've not watched that
obviously, yet. He called out me and my golf, Andy and Piers, and he said that he'd known Andy since he was 4 years old, and he was not even a pro himself then. He was like 17, 18, Andy. And they started coaching him at the age of 10, and obviously they're like big brothers to mentors, not just coaches. That was great. But one of the other things that he said that was really insightful is that they asked him about, you know, how did it feel being quite different, quite unique with the two gloves, the iron head covers, the Castle Tees, etc. How was that growing up? Did he get ridiculed at all? And he went on to say that he actually didn't play much junior golf until he was about 14, 15, I think it was. That growing up, his dad's mantra was to play the golf course very, very short and then bring it back time, you know, as he gets older and bigger and stronger. And apparently, I think when he was about 8 years old, he won some like Wii Wonders event and went to go and play the US Kids in America. And that's what they did. They had very, very, very short golf courses as you get bigger and stronger. So you get used to shooting par, level par, whatever.
That's what Bryson always used to say,
and then
wasn't
he moved back. So when he then went back home to Wolverhampton at the age of 8 and 9, he would play the golf course from like, let's say, 80 yards front of the flag, and then par it, birdie the next, etc. And then he'd move it back a bit, And because he did that, he hardly did any club golf. That's how he learned to play the game, which obviously was very, very worthwhile for him. He's obviously a notoriously short hitter. He's one of the shortest hitters on the PGA Tour. There's only, I think, 5 guys who are shorter than him.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, and without being rude, the guys that are shorter than him are quite old, if you want to call it that. His ball speed is very early 170s, so he's not a long hitter, but he's very accurate. But what's crazy now when you think about, well, two things. He's the first English winner of the PGA since 1919, which was, I've lost his name now. It's really disrespectful. What's he called?
It was when it was match play, and he was actually wearing a tie at the time of winning.
That's really annoying. I just had it ready then. Is it Jim Barnes? Jim Barnes. But what's also interesting, he is the first ever winner of the PGA Championship that's improved his score each round. So he went 70, 69, 67, 65. Wow. And apparently, if I'm correct here, he's actually the first major winner since Mark O'Meara at the 1998 Masters to do that. So that is how rare it is to go out the blocks and get lower and lower and lower each day.
That's crazy, actually.
That just shows you, talk about balls of steel. It's all well and good shooting a low score the first round of a major. Obviously very hard to do, but, without the pressure as such. But when the pressure is mounting and the field, naturally rises, the cream rises to the top, to keep going out and shooting lower scores day in, day out is incredible. But, you know, I know there's more to golf than, well, I was going to say there's more to golf than professional victory, than major victories. It's how you define players. We have this debate all the time, you know, who's better, Jack or Tiger? Well, if you're using the metric of majors, you've got to go Jack, etc. But you look now, and I'll just reel off a few names of legends of the English game who have never won a major championship. You know, obviously go Lee Westwood, former world number one, obviously very decorated European career. Luke Donald was a former world number one, but never won a major. Paul Casey, obviously incredible talent. Tommy Fleetwood, thus far, has never won a major. Tyrrell Hatton, never won a major. Ian Poulter, never won a major. So I'm not for 1 second suggesting now that Aaron Rai should be held above those guys, but if you are having the conversation of English golfers who've won majors, he is above them in that conversation. So that's crazy how much winning one of these can do for you.
I must admit, one thing, it's the best bloody trophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Wanamaker trophy is unbelievable. I mean, apparently it's £30.
Wow.
It's a big ass trophy, isn't it? I mean, it looks so good. But yeah, great to see. And like I say, who knows? I know you joked at the start of this podcast with your double gloves. The story behind that is when he used to practice at home in Wolverhampton. When it was cold, he'd wear 2 gloves to keep his hands warm. Quite simple. Kept that trend going on. The iron head covers, it's been talked about so much online, so you've probably heard this story already. When his dad's bought his irons for him, didn't have a lot of money. He's got plenty of money now, but out of respect, and rightly so, he wanted to look after his equipment, therefore got iron head covers. He's kept that trend all the way through his career so far.
Another interesting stat that, you know, thinking in the future, like the Ryder Cup and stuff like that, but this is also the first time in the modern era that the opening 2 majors of the year have been won by Europeans.
Sorry, say that again.
It's the first time in the modern era that the first 2 majors of the year, so obviously in this case the Masters and the PGA, have been won by Europeans. So you look at obviously Americans have got so many great players, Scotty Scheffler being the world number one, but you look now at who the Europeans have got, and you know, obviously Aaron Rai will now be knocking on the door of a Ryder Cup. We've got some amazing talent, and it's great as well. You know, we've said a few times on the podcast how Aaron Rai and Harry Hall, in particular, 2 English guys who do get overlooked. You know, didn't get in the Ryder Cup last year, which maybe they should have done. But the 2 names that haven't maybe had the sex appeal of some of the names, but I think now, rightly so, they are starting to show how good they actually are, and what a time it is for European golf.
Do you think? I know obviously it's the Ryder Cup next year. Do you think winning a major this year kind of guarantees you, or
no,
you still got to do a lot, haven't you?
It sounds horrible. I hope this doesn't happen clearly, but if he misses the cut every week now, you can't be in the Ryder Cup next year.
I don't know if this is updated, but he's
15 in the world now.
15th, yeah.
Yeah, he was 40-odd before, so he's massively climbed up the world rankings. But, you know, other interesting things. So, yeah, again, obviously, the story about his irons is one. I think a lot of people, actually, from what I've seen, the sentiment I've seen a little bit, obviously, it was only yesterday, we're calling this on Monday, but the sentiment I'm getting is a lot of people feel like he's a really good role model. I know we have this debate before, should athletes be role models? Obviously, some people say yes, some people say, well, no, they're good at sport, whatever. But I think from what we're seeing, you know, Aaron Rai is an incredible role model. He seems very humble, very honest, apparently he's a very kind man. I was listening to No Lane Up podcast this morning, don't mind shouting those guys out, and apparently one of the guys that works on a social team worked for the PGA Tour for 3 years, and apparently he said that there's lots of nice guys on the PGA Tour. You know, they can sort of put on nice as a persona when they need to in media, but apparently Aaron Rai's head is by far the nicest, and that's just use the word, he's just kind. That's a nice, you know, that's what a nice thing to say about someone, just a kind man, and he really is. And obviously, the iron head covers is something that I think we joke about iron head covers a lot. We do, and whether they're cool or whether they're not cool. But I think it's a lesson that, you know, there will be junior golfers out there listening to this, or grown-ups, certainly juniors, who've had golf clubs bought for them by the parents. And something I notice more now, having children, things are expensive, and golf clubs this day and age, if you want good golf clubs, that is, in the big brands, are expensive. If you buy if you're listening to this and you've got a child who's 14, 15, who wants a new set of shiny irons, and you fork out the 1,200 quid to buy them, it's a lot of money. I'm sure you want them to look after them, and having iron head covers obviously protects them and keeps them nice, but it's also almost a respect thing, maybe, from the child to the parents or whoever's bought the clubs for them, that I will look after these. I understand you've paid them, I will look after them. And
you can tell he's been brought up
really
nicely, can't you? You can just tell he's got really good parents who have taught him well, really good manners, really good way of acting. You could tell, like I said, the brief encounters I've had with him, he's so nice to speak to. He's very, you know, when you're just in conversation with someone and they are taking every word you're saying in, like they're not looking around, or you know, they're so engrossed in what's being said in the conversation. He's top guy.
Just another talking point as well, probably something we'll talk about on Friday, but we'll do it today while we're here. You might have seen we did a very short, quick video on the Hit channel. Didn't get loads of views, annoyingly, but we did a video about the fact that TaylorMade have announced they're releasing drivers every 2 years now. So they're following suits of Ping and Titleist, who release a driver every 2 years. TaylorMade have made that quite quote-unquote shocking announcement. They're doing the same because they currently, or up to this point, release a driver every year. I think everybody listening and watching knows that those drivers don't really improve every year. Aaron Rai has won a major championship, the PGA Championship, with a driver, a TaylorMade M6 from 2019.
It's wild, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's wild.
And that, that just shows, yes, he's not the longest hitter on tour. I don't think a new driver would really change that. His game is all around accuracy and hitting fairways and putting the ball in the short grass. He feels most confident doing that with a drive that was launched 7 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago. It's impressive.
Fair play. Just looking at the world ranking now as well. Obviously, this is the official world ranking. But right now, Europe have more players in the top 15. They have 8 players in the top 15.
Data golf's a bit different, but not far off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 5 on data golf, but still pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it sets up very nicely as we get into the Ryder Cup year next year. So, yeah, very, very good. I'm still open to suggestions around the format changing. Whether anything will happen with that, who knows? I'm sure it'll be many, many, many years down the line. But really good to see. It was great to see Jon Rahm making a charge as well. Unfortunately, his putter just got cold on that back nine. I think he only picked up 1 birdie in the end. His putter got really, really cold. It was great to see also as well Cam Smith. I think he's been, from what I understand, he's been working with Claude Harmon III on his swing technique. Looks like it's kind of working. That was something I heard, I don't know if it's fact or not, but something I'd read online or something. Again, his putter kind of let him down a little bit on the last few holes. One thing that's interesting for me, and I'm not going to make a big deal about this, but I feel like a player like Oberg gets in contention a lot, doesn't seem to be getting over the line a lot. He's there and thereabouts, isn't he? But just doesn't seem to be doing it. I think once the domino tips and he wins 1 or 2, I think it's his for a long time. But he does seem to fall away that final round, frustratingly. Mad seeing Rory McIlroy have pretty much for him a subpar event, certainly after that first round, and still come top. Where did he finish in the end? Was it fifth or something? So obviously
side seventh.
Like, it just goes to show these guys are so good, even when they're not absolutely killing it. He seemed a bit frustrated with the crowd a little bit yesterday as well, which was interesting. Again, I feel like maybe with this idea that this event again is played in Philadelphia in the US, that I don't know if the Europeans are maybe getting a bit more stick still, possibly. But there was definitely some... he wasn't happy with a few of the crowd yesterday. I think Justin Rose potentially silenced some naysayers in the fact that he obviously switched to McLaren irons not too long ago. A lot of people saying, he's made the wrong choice. Well, a tied 10th in the PGA Championship, and he could have easily gone on and shot a better second round. He shot a 73 second round. Who knows what that could have done to his overall finish position, but I think that kind of the idea of him swapping irons has probably now faded a little bit.
It was also 14th in strokes gained approach to green, so I think he's doing pretty well with his irons.
He's doing very nicely indeed. There was lots of really good stories. Again, I don't know much about Alex Smalley. I don't know much about Matty Schmid.
Did you hear about Alex Smalley's mum?
No.
That's not a joke. So it's quite interesting, actually. Alex Smalley on Sunday came to the golf course with his mum next to him, which got a bit of criticism online, which is silly. But basically his mum, let me just get this up now so I don't get it wrong. I think his mum was a physicist and a chemist, and she basically quit her job and she now records all of his stats for him and films his swing and like his manager. But she's really involved. She classes herself essentially as she's called his statistician, manager, and much more. And she records every swing when he plays a tournament and sends it on to his coach.
No way.
She's very, very involved with his career, which is something that you don't see very often. And
got a lovely swing.
Yeah, he's got a nice swing.
Lovely swing. And that putt on the last made him a lot of money because he ended up becoming tied second with Jon Rahm. It made him about 600 grand more or something. It was silly amounts of money just by holding that putt on the last hole to shoot a level par.
Can
70.
I read some names that didn't make the cut, and you have to let me know if you think it's a concern or not a concern?
Go for it.
Bryson. But going in hot with Bryson. He shot 7 over par, 76-71. He's obviously missed the cut this year at the Masters and the USPGA or PGA Championship.
Just from seeing, I think it was a concern on the first day, but knowing more about the golf course, I just think it shows that accuracy played bigger part than length. I think he probably tried to overpower the golf course, which is a golf course you just couldn't overpower. And I think at the moment he's probably got a lot of things going on in his mind, so doesn't always help either.
Tommy, he missed the cut.
Surprises me because again he is an accurate golfer.
No, exactly.
He doesn't go against that kind of grain. I think with any of this, like he shot 72, 73 and missed the cut by 1. It's not a lot, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean? I feel any of these guys that are missing the cut by 1 or 2, I mean, a couple of extra putts here, there would have gone in. It would have been a totally different story.
Michael Block.
Blocky.
Missed the cut on the line, I think. He was I think he shot 5 over.
Yeah, he shot 70, 75. I mean, it's great that he keeps qualifying, keeps getting in. I'd love to see him make the cut again. He would have earned a lot more money, obviously, than zero money. I really actually quite like Blocky. Obviously, the PGA Championship seems to be his event. So I would love to see him continue to qualify and continue to do well.
And then last but not least, are you worried about or not Bryce Fisher?
I am actually.
Yeah, he had...
I am worried about Bryce.
79.83, finished dead last, 20 over par.
I would take it.
Yeah, I know. Well, that is the thing, isn't it? It's easy to laugh at these scores. This golf course was absolutely solid, obviously.
The fact he broke 80 once, I'd take that.
The level of golf he actually must be able to play is ridiculous. So, fair dues. It's not all fun and games. But, yeah, great win.
He shot 79 as well with 2 trebles. Wow. Sorry, a triple and a double.
Fair dues.
I mean, it just looked like a horrible, horrible golf course, as in like to play. What's interesting as well, I played Shinnecock Hill a couple of weeks ago. I'll be honest, and the video will come out. I didn't play phenomenal, but it wasn't that hard. I'm going to watch it next month, and it's going to be one of the hardest golf courses you've ever seen. Because the way they'll just trip it up will be so different to what I played it. The rough will be thicker. The greens will be faster. It'll just be absolutely mental.
When you watch a player like Aaron Rai, who obviously has clearly won this weekend, won a major championship with being one of the shortest hits on tour, do you think that is something that you in your own game would look at and think, actually, distance isn't everything, or do you still want to gain pure speed?
I mean, he's not short, though, is he?
Well, not compared to a mere mortal, but he's short compared to his peers by a long shot.
The thing is, if I was accurate, then if I was short, I'd have to be accurate. Previously, I've been short and not accurate. so I might as well be long.
And not accurate.
And actually, I feel like when I hit it harder, I actually find more fairways because I just free up and just let it go. The one thing I do want to address, and I'm going to go back to Bryson for a minute. I feel, and again, I know people will read into this however which way they wish. I really feel like the media, social media world, TV coverage was very reveling in the fact that Bryson wasn't doing very well. And I didn't like it at all. I felt like a lot of, we didn't see someone like, and I'm not going to pick any names, but if the, Max Homer, for argument's sake, I said I won't pick names, but I have done. Max Homer did worse than Bryson, but they're not showing the highlights of when he made triple or when he duffed a chip or when he didn't hit the green from 20 yards. When Bryson seems to do it, it was all over everywhere. And I feel like it was, I don't know, I just feel like the TV coverage, certainly when they are Sky Sports or people like that, just love to pick on, I'm going to use that word, or highlight bad rounds or bad shots from live players when they're not playing well. And I know people are going to say, "Oh, Rick, you're going to say that, blah blah blah." You with live. I just feel like that's what happens, and I just think it's. I feel like it's harsh for, personally, again, the live guys. They, as soon as they do something that's not right or they miss a green, it gets highlighted so much. I feel like they are attacking these guys at the moment when they shouldn't be, in my opinion. I've had my say.
I hear you. I'd slightly disagree, only in the sense of, I know you use the name, I think any name you pick on that leaderboard who missed the cut, I don't think anyone is in the same stratosphere as Bryson. You know, Bryson is obviously a 2-time major champion, and you know, his majors last year, he came top 10 in 3 of his 4 majors last year, top 10 in 3 of his majors the year before, and won one of them, the US Open. I think he is one of the best players on the planet. I think what he does on social media, on YouTube, etc., creates so much noise around him. You know, he gets millions of views per video. I think so many people are invested in him, and so many people expect him to do well. Like when Rory sees up in the tournament, or John Rahm. You know, he is that elite level. I think it's then quite shocking to see him miss the cut by so much.
I think it is, but again, from what I was seeing online and certainly the TV coverage, it was like they were laughing at him. It was like they were using an example to go, God, look at this guy. Like, he should just be sticking to making YouTube videos. And I just didn't like it. I thought it was petty from the TV coverage. I've had my say. From this moment onwards, who obviously nobody guessed Aaron Rai to win. No. I did guess. My prediction was John Rahm, but unfortunately, he just came short. From what I've read, 2 contrasting odds. I heard that he was 150 to 1 at the start of the week, and I've also heard 100 to 1. Does it almost just go to show as well, some of these major tournaments, they can be kind of won by anybody? It is still quite crazy that, you know, who knows, in the US Open, like, the favourites always are knocking, but it's never a guarantee that a favourite is going to end up picking up the trophy.
I feel like you get it more so in the PGA, though, than any other event. Obviously,
I feel like PGA and US Open and possibly a bit more open.
Yeah, well, it's because the field, isn't it? You know, you don't get people who qualify for the Masters, do you? So it's like, well, you know, qualify, but not, you get invited via certain things. So there's more players in the field. But, well, I think that's the exciting thing about golf, isn't it? You know, anyone who's there, in theory, and in theory is the key word, could win it. You know, even if you qualify, it's never going to happen, but if you qualify the PGA Championship as an American PGA pro who works in a pro shop and has a pro shop business, and then you suddenly qualify. You know, it's like a movie. You have 4 of the best rounds of your life. You could, in theory, win. Again, it isn't going to happen. But I think that's what I like about golf. I think for me, I don't always care who wins. Obviously, I've got favourites and people I'm not as bothered about, but I want it to be competitive. So I think when Brian Harman won the Open at Royal Liverpool, without being rude to Brian Harman, it wasn't great because he wasn't a name I was particularly invested in, and he won by a country mile, so it was quite boring. If someone's going to win by a country mile, I want it to be a Tiger, a Rory, someone who's a huge name. Or I don't mind a Brian Harman to win. I'll let him win if it's still competitive and you've got big names in the mix. So I think that's why this week, even though Aaron Rai, he got great reception by the US, a lot of them might not have known him, or a little bit from his PGA Tour. Obviously, has won on the PGA Tour before. But I think the fact it was competitive, I think then you're happy for that guy to win, aren't you, really? If he was 5 shots ahead going into Sunday and then won by 8, I think it might be a bit like, oh, okay, I'm not bothered. So I think for me, competitiveness is what makes the best golf, and then whoever comes out on top, fair play, you've deserved it.
It was to some degree, it was almost a perfect win, wasn't it, really? Because like I said, the leaderboard was
nobody
so
blew it,
stacked
really,
up.
did they?
No, the leaderboard was so he went out and won it, didn't he? On those last 10 holes, he went out and won it. He said, I'm gonna go and do this, and just the discipline he showed was just incredible. You know, he really stuck to his guns, he stuck to his technique, he stuck to his routine, and like I say, once he eagled 9, to then birdie 11, 13, 16, 17, and nearly birdie 18. Just clinic, absolute clinic.
Let me just read to you now, before we move on from this to other topics. Obviously, when we talk about golf, we very much talk about Europeans, and obviously we don't really talk about English golfers very often. But when you look now at what English players we have got, you know, for this next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, and what talent we've got, there's some great names. You've got obviously Matt Fitzpatrick, currently again on World Golf Rankings, world number 4. Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Aaron Rai, Tyrrell Hatton, Marco Penge, Harry Hall, Matt Wallace, Jordan Smith, Alex Fitzpatrick, John Parry, all inside the top 100. So we've got, what's that, about 10 guys all within the top 100. We have got some serious talent. And you look at that list again and someone says, right, you know, put a bet on for the Open or the US Open. You know, you wouldn't be scared to put money on Fitzy or Justin Rose or Tommy or Tyrrell or Aaron Rai again now. You know, Harry Hall's had such a great career in America. Alex Fitzpatrick is massively on the way up. Jordan Smith has taken to America really well on the PGA Tour, and John Parry, etc. So we have got a hell of a lot of talent. And again, Marco Penge for the next 5-10 years.
I just find it amazing. It'll still baffle me, and I'd love somebody to do some research into this. How does the UK as a whole create good golfers? Obviously, we've got amazing golf courses, yes, but we've not got the facilities like other countries. We've not got the weather like other countries. You know, I find it quite amazing that we produce the talent that we do.
I know.
I honestly do. Like, when you go over to America and you go to these facilities and the driving ranges are absolutely perfect with perfect golf balls, beautiful weather, everything's laid out in front. I mean, it's just epic. I can only think of 2 or 3 places in the UK that you could do that. And none of these guys are from there. No. None of these guys have grown up playing at Wentworth or practicing at Wentworth, have they? Or Beaverbrook. Or they do now because they've got a bit of dough and they go and join these places. But, like, you know, the story of Aaron practicing in the cold with 2 gloves in Wolverhampton. I mean, where the hell was he practicing?
You know what it is? Grit and hard work.
Must be.
You look at the names. I'm going to the top 10 in the world now. I've got Scotty, but obviously you go Rory. Works like he's naturally gifted, yes, but works like a Trojan. He's been playing golf since he was born. Fitzy, again, work ethic. Justin Rose, work ethic. Tommy, I don't, obviously don't know Tommy very much other than with you, but I used to play junior tournaments with him, and he was always amazing, and obviously worked very, very hard. I think it's Aaron Rai again goes without saying. We've touched on that so much today. I think it is. I mean, I don't know much about Tyrrell. I mean, you obviously spent a bit of time with him. I guess he works hard. I think it is just having the absolute mindset and grinding.
But also, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like any of these guys, maybe Matt, they didn't go to university in America, did they?
Justin Rose didn't. Tommy didn't. Aaron Rai didn't, I don't believe.
I don't understand if some of these guys went to the US at the age of 16. I could imagine that, like John Rahm did, obviously from Spain. He obviously went to Arizona State. It's amazing. It is amazing, and that's just the English list. You then throw in a Bob McIntyre. You throw in the guys from Northern Ireland and Ireland. Like it's incredible. I honestly can't believe it.
You can't train bottle. And no matter what driving range you're on, no matter what university you go for, you can't train having the balls in the moment. And yesterday, Aaron Rai had balls like King Kong, didn't he?
He did. Could hear him.
And Fitzpatrick at the US Open with that shot out of the bunker, balls like King Kong.
That shot of Matt Fitzpatrick in the bunker when his brother won. And
that's what I mean. It's like, I think no matter who you are, no matter where you've played, no matter what you've won, no matter what, that is what you just cannot. I mean, you can get used to it more, I guess. The more you're in those situations, the more you kind of can. Well, I'm saying that. Sometimes you hear athletes saying the more times you put yourself in that situation, you get used to it. Other times you say you just don't. You're always nervous. You just have to go with it. But I think that is the thing that separates it when it comes to the Ryder Cup. Shane Lowry, I know he's not won enough recently, but in the Ryder Cup, sinking that putt, it comes down to absolute bottle. Take the fancy driving ranges away, take the fancy golf coaches, take the custom fitting away. That is down to, you've got your putter in your hand, have you got them minerals?
Yeah, and even, sorry, I'm going on this topic a little bit more, even going back a little bit, and you look at the names you mentioned before, your Poulter, your Case. I mean, feel like Casey moved to States quite early on, but like your Luke Donald, your Lee Westwood, these guys, like, again, they grinded through the English weather or the UK weather, the not great practice facilities that we have over here. It's amazing. I honestly, you know, because I always think to myself, God, if I had, and it's probably my way of excusing my lack of talent or my lack of where I got to. When you think about it, it's like, yeah, but we don't have the practice facilities. Yeah. Well, none of these guys did. Like, you know, when I think of practicing now and I go, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind going hitting some balls, and I look outside and it's cold weather and I think, well, where am I going to hit balls? Well, there's a muddy driving range where they've got crap golf balls. I won't bother. No. These guys did, didn't they? These guys got up there, they practiced in the mud, in the crappy golf balls. Like, I always think to myself, God, if I was in America, I'd be so much better. But you're right, it's the drive. It's what's inside, isn't it? It's not the facilities. I'm sure it helps. It's the facts of these guys and girls. And like, I always think of like Charlie Hull. Like, I've seen Charlie Hull practice at like Woburn with a shag bag and a field, and she'll hit balls and go and pick up her own balls and stuff. It's like, fair play. Like, it's bloody, that is, you've got to love that stuff, haven't you? You've got to love the grind.
A silly analogy would be, you know, we've all stayed in nice hotels. Certainly, obviously, you have when you've been traveling the world. And I know sometimes you've been motivated, you've gone to the gym in the hotel, which is great. But it's also a lot of times, I'm included, we've been to a lovely hotel and thought, oh, there's a gym on the ground floor. Can't bother going. It's there on your doorstep. There'll be some poor fella who's travelling 2 hours on bus to go to the gym because he's motivated to grind and he wants to, you know, be in great shape, whatever. And the same thing again, you know, you could have an amazing golf course on your doorstep with amazing facilities. You have to go out and bash the balls and get blistered fingers, which that takes something else. But
yeah, no, it's great. Anyway.
In other news, in arguably as big / important / groundbreaking news as Aaron Rai getting across the line and winning his first major championship. On Friday, Rick, I did something quite monumental.
What did you do, guy?
I rejoined Huffwood Golf Club.
You big brave boy.
I did. Thank you very much.
Wow. We're talking about grit and determination.
Well, I decided that I have got the golf bug back a little bit, as you well know. The signs, albeit very small signs, that I could start to play some decent golf if I can fix the driver, which is always the caveat, but it's kind of getting a little bit fixed. And I thought, you know what? I want to go back to my old stomping ground where I grew up and spent all my junior days. And I went on Friday and I paid full price, didn't get it. I should have said, really, can you do me a discount for a shout on the podcast? And he said, didn't even ask. I paid full price, which was a commitment in itself. It wasn't cheap. And I am now a golfer. I played on Friday, played 7 holes at night. I did 5, 17, did the first 5, and then you do 17 and 18 at about 8 o'clock. It was going dark when I finished, which was great. And then on Sunday, yesterday morning, my wife was taking our 2 children to some friends' little play date. So I said, right, I'm going to the gym in a bit. What can I do first? Looked at the tee sheet. There's 1 free tee at 9:10. I know he's going to have that. Bang, 9 holes, done. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
What do you think the goal's going to be?
So, right, this is the question.
You've already laid it out.
No, well, I've not, but I need your advice on this. Right. As you well know, I would
love you to become a golfer.
Well, I'm going to, because, listen to this. This has shocked me.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm there because I got my handicap back. My CDH number still exists. Now, people listening who watch the videos when I play with you will laugh at this, but my handicap officially is 3.3. Now, yes, the scorecards on there are very, very, very old, right? So, yes, that's quite hard to play to. What I could not fathom and couldn't believe since the launch of the World Handicap System, though, is my golf club, Huffwood Golf Club, decent golfers there. When I was playing a lot as a junior and then a decent, youth, I was probably about the 5th or 6th lowest handicapper, and I played for the scratch team many times, whatever, and a few times. Now, in 2026, off 3.3, I am the 40th lowest handicapper. There's 39 people lower than me.
Wow.
However, what I didn't quite realise is the golf course is quite difficult. It's on a big hill. So your playing handicap is much higher than your course index. So my handicap index is 3.3, but in a comp, I'll be off 5.
Wow.
So actually, the guys who are on scratch on the handicap list,
2 or 3.
it's correct. So they're still lower than me, but it's not as daunting as it might seem. So actually, I was quite surprised. Well, I'm off 3.3. That scares me a bit, but that'll give me, I think, 5 shots in a Stableford comp, so I can obviously lose balls. I can easily, a bit more practice, get that going again.
A video that's going to go out today or tomorrow. You can play really solid golf.
I can, but it's the driver.
I know, but I feel like you're fixing that pretty quickly.
I am. I'm excited. So honestly, I'm really. I don't know if I'll play Saturday comp.
I was just going to ask that. Do you
it's hard.
Do you think? I know, because I've got 2 young children.
I've got 2 young kids, and also I'm sure I've not dreamt this. When I was growing up, it used to be, which is a good and a bad thing. They used to alternate. So one week it was Saturday comp, one week it was Sunday, and it would alternate. Now it's Saturday every week, which is better in some regards. People know what to expect. However, on Saturday, I was toying with thinking, should I do the comp today? Should I do my first comp? And decided not to. But then I had a normal Saturday with my family. There was a textbook Saturday. Went to like a farm. Went around a kid's farm, fed some sheep, did stuff like that. Like, I've got a child who's 3.5 and a child that's 5 months old. So really, going playing golf on a Saturday, it's not really that doable, because even if you say, right, I'll play the first tee time, I think the first tee's like 7 o'clock. My little girl wakes up at 6:30 and is up for the day. So I can't really leave my wife with the 2 children and go out for 5 hours. Equally, if I play at 2 o'clock later in the day, they still need entertaining. So it's difficult to understand if I'm going to or not. I might try to do the odd one here and there. But yeah, I'm feeling really excited. I went, and again, this is not obviously a sponsored thing. I've paid full whack, but went into the clubhouse after my 9 holes today. Got an egg on toast, great service. The really nice barmaid I'd never met before. And what's crazy is, I still feel like, because I grew up there, that
everyone should know you.
Well, yeah, some people do,
it's
but
the
like
same people.
there is some. That's what's mad, right? In one breath, like the pro Paul has been there since 1999.
Is this the guy you had that picture with your first golf lesson?
So that's still in the shot. That picture from that was 1998. That picture. He's been there since about 1997. He's still there. But there's the girl behind reception that I actually paid to join. I said, "Oh, how long have you been here for?" Thinking she'd say 2 years. She went, "Oh yeah, 10 years." I was like, "What?" I didn't know her, and I was like, well, yeah, because I have been a member in that time briefly, but not like I was like a Play More Golf member, so I wasn't like an actual member going in. And then the girl behind the bar was really pleasant. I said, "Oh, I've just got chatting to people. How long have you been here?" "Oh, yeah, I've been here 4 years now." I was like, this is crazy. All these people I didn't even know of and have been there for a long time. But what were you expecting? Well, no, let me explain why. This is because, right, hear me out.
Where's Barbara gone? Barbara passed away.
No, because
10 years ago.
This is because, let me explain, because my golf club opened in 1996. It just now celebrated the 30th anniversary of being open, right? And my dad and my brother were founder members. I think my dad was member number 4, founder members. So I went up from when it opened, and I remember it being very different to how it is now, and the clubhouse not being fully built and stuff, very vaguely, but do remember it. And I joined in 1998. So because the club was brand new and we were like founder members, everything, like all the history, if you like, I was created. Yeah. So I knew who the best player at the golf was at the time, what the course record was, you know, who had the hole-in-ones and stuff, all the different staff. And it felt like we were creating history, if you like. And then obviously, as time goes on, lots of the members who were big names or big faces have moved on, or some people have passed away, like you said, and things have changed. But for me, it feels weird, because if my golf club had been around for 100 years and celebrated a centenary, I'd probably go there knowing, well, I'm only a small part of its history.
You're a chapter.
Yeah, but because I was there from the start, it's this weird like feeling. It's like very hard to explain. And it's all these new members now who I class are new members. And I'm looking, and some of them are one of the people who I think has been quite a new member was captain about 2015-16, and I still think he's been a new member, and he was captain 10 years ago, would have been member obviously for a few years before that. And the reason I say that, very briefly before I leave this topic, I had a very short-term part-time job working in a pub behind the bar for like about 3 or 4 months when I was like 18. And at the time, I was working in the golf shop at the pro shop as well. And I remember there was some regulars at the pub who came in who just get into golf. And because I was off like 3 or 4, worked in the pro shop, they're asking me all details about it. This would have been about 2008. And I remember thinking like, oh yeah, these guys all get into golf. I think I saw one of them a yes putter at the time. And they were all new. And then a few years later, they got into it. And then I think one of these guys was the captain in about 2014 or something. And in my head, I still think he's a new member. And it's like, he's not. So anyway, I'm very excited to get back into it.
You are right in that sense, though, because even when I was a pro at Mia for 8 years or so, everyone who's member before me had been in my head had been members there for 50 years.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyone that came a member after I joined there didn't matter until the last day they were new members to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were new in my time frame.
And that's
why everyone else they could have been there for 50 years, but I didn't know.
Exactly. If you're doing that, because I was there from 1996. Say if somebody joined in 2000 who was a good player, in my head, even though I was only a child, I thought they were a new member. They could have been there for 26 years.
What? We are conscious for saying this publicly.
Yeah.
What do you want to be as a member of this golf club? What do you want to be known as?
I want to be known.
Do you want to get on the scratch team?
I don't think I will though, because a good friend of mine, a childhood friend of mine, Paul Howard, who played in the Open 2016 at Royal Troon. He won on the Challenge Tour. He's rejoined. He's a member at Southport and Ainsdale for years. He's rejoined. We were both junior members there. Got his amateur status back. He's off +5.
Wow.
And he plays to it. He's unbelievable. So he's off +5. There's a couple of guys off +2. There's like loads off scratch. So for me to get in that top 5 or 6, it's going to take such a long time. I have got a small goal, and I don't know, I say small goal, a huge goal.
Get down to scratch.
But I'm going to do it for time.
All right.
Well, not like next week.
This year.
I was thinking about having 40 in the next 5 years. No, realistically, if I can play properly and put some effort in, I'd like to get down to scratch in a few. I don't know when. But last thing, I will change topic. I'm conscious this might be a bit boring for some people.
I don't think it will be.
I played 9 holes yesterday. Had 6 pars, 3 silly bogeys, so 3 over pars. Not ideal, but it's fine. Whatever. I couldn't believe, although I still made 3 bogeys, from playing the golf course I play with you, that are like often an open rotor course or championship golf course, or furthest back tees with quite daunting rough. I don't say it felt easy because that's embarrassing when I've only shot 3 over, but it felt a lot more manageable.
Well, I think that probably showed at the Ellesmere Club that we played last week.
It was like, so cool.
That's kind of, it's not championship golf course level, and therefore it does seem a bit easier, doesn't it?
But also, let me just show you this. This is something we've probably both overlooked, actually. If I can find it, this is really insightful. If you go on MyEG, right? So if we go on the MyEG app, and you can type in what your handicap would be at a golf course, right? So my handicap index, as I said, whether I played it or not, it's up for debate. It's 3.3.
So you have to put cards in, right, to update that?
Yeah, right. We are hoping to, at some point, go and film at Royal Birkdale ahead of the Open. We might not. We've done it before anyway. And if I went to go and play Royal Birkdale with you now, we'd play it off the blacks, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Right? I would still be, in my head, wanting to try and shoot around 3, 4, 5 over, or even break 18. If I don't, I'll class that as a disgrace. My handicap at 3.3, right, at Royal Birkdale off black tees is 11. So if I shot 11, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've not been doing with you. So when we go to these golf courses, and I know sometimes I'll pick up an NR, but when we play like hard golf courses, I still think to myself, and probably you do the same. What's yours at the minute? I know it's not bang on.
Yeah, mine's a bit too low at the moment. I think I'm on a test club, so you might not be able to find me. I think I'm off +2.9.
Well, I don't know what that would equal at Royal. I'd probably work it out. But at Royal Birkdale, you'd be able to still like shoot mid-70s, I'm guessing, or whatever. Roughly a lot better than you think.
Well, I found an article the other day, and I was actually going to talk to you about it as maybe a series.
Okay.
It was the 10 hardest golf courses in the UK.
Oh wow.
Okay. Now, how did it though? I didn't realise this. How you do? You add the course rating and the slope rating together.
Okay.
To get the number which makes it the
sense.
hardest. So in 10th position, Cabot Highlands, Castle Stewart off the black tees, is course rating and slope rating 215.1. Muirfield from the white tees 215.8. Royal Portrush 216.9. Royal Aberdeen 218.8. Royal County Down, then Royal Birkdale is the 5th hardest course at 221.9. Then Royal St George's, then Rockcliffe Hall, which I always thought was the hardest. That's 227.3. Can you guess the top 2? So actually, sorry.
Carnoustie.
No. It's not even on the top 10.
One
we've played at. Both we've played at.
Lytham?
Lytham is one.
Yeah.
Lytham, technically, is the hardest golf course in the UK at 228.5. The slope rating is 152, and the course rating is whatever, 77 plus whatever. And the other one is Woodall Spa.
Oh, right, yeah.
The one I thought, I knew that Woodall Spa and Rockcliffe were 2 of the hardest. I actually didn't know Royal Lytham, which is the home of this year's Ladies Open in end of July, and it's the home of the Open in 2028, Royal Lytham and St Anne's, is technically the hardest golf course in the UK.
Well, yeah, so if I've put it on my EG app. If I went to Royal Lytham with you now, off the blue tees, it drops down to par 70, granted, but I get 11 shots, so I could shoot 81 to my handicap.
How mental is
And that's
that?
also what's interesting, again, and people listening now will be thinking, oh, well, this is obvious stuff, but because I've not played for so long, because I'd be off, I'm actually going off 11, I would get 11 shots. So in Stableford, I'd obviously get 36 points if I shot 11 over. Whereas back when I used to play, standard scratch might go up, but it's still, I would always be off 3 or 4. So I'd get like, I might get 30 Stableford points, but not go up my handicap. But now I'd actually get genuinely 11 shots on the scorecard. Are you with me? I'm literally playing.
What a different mindset.
It is. So it's handicap
nice
index
mindset.
and course handicap are, again, everyone listening will be aware, but very different things.
But I actually think, I actually think it's better.
Oh, it's miles better.
I'm actually starting to understand this handicap more because I'm doing this handicap series. I'm starting to understand my handicap. I'm actually playing some of these golf courses, like you say, with a slightly different mindset of not going, well, today's goal is to shoot 72. Yeah. Going, well, actually, 76 is a good round for me today. The one thing I can't fathom, and I was actually asking my contact at England Golf this last week, when I played at Trump National in Virginia a couple of weeks ago, let me just bring up the stats so I've got this right. What I was trying to figure out is when some of these guys are going around and shooting 60 at a golf course, which the course rating is 77. Technically, that's 17 under par.
Oh, my days, yeah.
What's their handicap?
I know.
Like some of these guys, if they is there anywhere, leave the comments down below, is there anywhere a website where it works out Tour Pros handicaps?
That would be really cool. It probably is.
Because I honestly think some of these guys are going to be off like plus 10, 12, whatever. I honestly think they are. Because back in the day, it was always like, oh yeah, Tour Pros off about plus 6, plus 7. They're not.
Yeah.
They are off. If they're properly going through it off course rating, these guys, then obviously they're never playing easy golf courses either. Like the course rating at Aronimink this week would have been 82. I honestly think it would have been.
Yeah.
And these guys have got, like, Aaron Rai shooting 65 round there yesterday. That's 17 under par.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what these guys' handicaps are.
I think, was 3 under par leading after day one?
Something like that, yeah. It wasn't a lot.
Even that, I thought to myself, imagine you getting 140 or whatever, the best players on the planet, to a regular golf club, a Marriott Worsley Park or a normal Gulfwood Golf Club, whatever, a normal golf course, and saying, go and play golf. There'll be someone shoot 59, no question. Maybe a few guys shoot 59. There'd be, some incredible scores. The fact that the best is like 300 just shows how, like you said, the 12, 15 shots harder.
Like what? I was almost even asking my contact, like, is there a limit? Like, is plus 8 the lowest you can be? But apparently there's not.
You know what, as well?
You can be as low as you possibly can be.
It's the only annoying thing about golf, that although you can, in theory, go and play most of the golf courses that the Tour Pros play on, Bar Augusta, etc., you can go and play them. You'll never experience it truly the same. It's like when you ran the London Marathon, you did it in whatever time you did it in, and the world record was set that same day at 1 hour 59. You can't, in one breath, you can't comprehend it, but you also can. You can think, oh my God, like he could have done it twice or whatever. It's so fast. But nobody that plays golf really will ever experience what it's like to play in those conditions. And that's why there's always so much interest and intrigue. People always say about, if you had a 4-ball following the event that was a scratch handicap of 10, 18 and 28 and see what they shot, because a genuine normal scratch golfer at a golf club, I bet they wouldn't be breaking 90 around there.
They wouldn't, because not only, I've been lucky enough to play golf courses, and you have as well, very close to tournament condition. A lot of these live courses, I'm literally playing the same week. But even when I'm playing it at the start of the week compared to Thursday, the greens are different animals. Yeah. You can see them, like, they're prepping those golf courses, fine-tuning them so much so that Thursday, they are on. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then Friday it gets faster, Saturday, Sunday it gets even faster. Like, that's how fine-tuned it is.
And to take it a step further, even if you do play it in that condition, you'll play it on video, bit of pressure granted. They're playing it for the livelihood, to win more majors, to win
massive amounts of people.
Like, there's all that you still can't. And then take it the further step again, that birdie on 17 that Aaron Rai made yesterday, with everything on the line, he could have easily 3-put that and potentially end up losing the tournament, or whatever might have happened, and he boxes it. It's like, that's not just a 70-foot putt. That's a Marks and Spencer M&S, but I couldn't get my joke out. I overthought my joke too much and stumbled it. Let me do it again. That's a Marks and Spencer's putt. Not very good, that was it.
No, but like, and again, listen, I was lucky enough to play Augusta the day after John Rahm won it. I didn't play off the same tees, and even then, the greens weren't cut that morning.
Have you played Augusta?
It's not like the greens were cut that much. Like,
there's no crowd.
It's so different. You cannot comprehend the level of golf that these guys are playing, and I think that's what I would love, and I'd love if there's somewhere out there, please work out what Tour Pro's proper handicaps are, because I think it'll baffle people.
The other thing as well is that time we did that video with Sam Horsfield where we took a Tour Pro to a regular golf course at the Marriott. I think he shot a few under, didn't play that well.
Like 3 under.
But what was mad with that is that was still only just one guy who didn't have the best day to his admission. You get 140 odd other guys there. There would literally be somebody. I think it's definitely would happen that would shoot in the 50s.
Would you like to see a tournament played at an unbelievably easy golf course?
Yeah,
Or would you like to see a tournament played at a normal golf course? Doesn't have to be easy, just a normal golf course.
Yeah, in a sense, yes, but I think I said at the start, I think for me what makes tournament golf fun is having a bunched up leaderboard with some big names in there. So I almost feel like, in a sense, like, I know you're more pro birdies, which I get lots of golfers are. I don't care if the US Open is won with a 5-over score, if it's Rory that wins it and John Rahm's behind him, Bryson's behind him, Scheffler's up there. The number almost becomes irrelevant to me. I can almost forget the number and just think about the leaderboard. That makes sense. So
for me, it's almost just viewing pleasure.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's just that I want to see a big fist pump moment because they've holed or they've stiffed it or whatever. You don't get that on a tough golf course. Like, it's almost relief you've holed a par putt. It's quite a tough watch. I find I'm watching it and kind of like, oh God, you could 3-putt this and it's not nice. Where like, they just skirt the edge of a 10-foot birdie putt. You're like, oh God, that's so close.
You like a light-hearted comedy. I want a horror film.
Yeah.
Only once a year I want a horror film. I want it gruesome.
Yeah. See, I don't
want Rory.
Yeah,
I want Rory in tears and a big clown behind him.
So I almost don't. I know a lot of people take solace in the fact that they're seeing these guys struggle, but it's not the same. Like it's, they're struggling. It just shows how bloody hard it is. Like, you genuinely, some of those holes, you'd have seen amateur golfers not be able to complete them. They would have not completed the hole.
I tell you what then, I'll shake your hand on this. I don't care what the golf course is, what the scores are. On the final day, in the final 9 holes, I want one of a Rory, a Scotty, a John Rahm, a Bryson. One of those 4 up there as a minimum. Ideally all 4, but as one of those as a minimum. I want someone like a Justin Rose, a Tommy, maybe a Ludwig, a Højgaard kind of brother, that kind of level, that kind of guy up there. I'm not offended by a smaller name, an Aaron Rai, a Harry Hall vibe up there.
Aaron Rai's not a small name anymore.
And then then a few and it tight. That kind of, that's what I'm at. And then we put like an American, a JT, a Spieth.
But you don't want like Ben Griffin up there, do you?
He can have a fit top 5. He can come 5th.
You don't want JJ Spawn up there, do you?
No. And then that'd do me that. And maybe a bit of maybe like a Harrington doing it like he did the other day, having a bit of a charge coming in the top 20.
This is like 30 golfers.
No, but that's what I know. From those buckets, we need to make a buckets of like elites, next tier down, wild cards, and then no-goes. And then like you pick, well, I'll have one from that, one from that, one from that. And if that was the leaderboard and they're all in contention, I'd take it. I think this week's was a good leaderboard.
Do you think there should be a tournament where it's a bit like the FA Cup, where the best players just join the party after like 3 rounds?
Yeah. just Scotty at the end.
Just to guarantee you're going to see the quality at the end.
I mean
that if it was proper knockout, if it was match play, imagine the PGA Championship became a Great Golf Club Championship, a global match play tournament that started at bloody grassroots level, and as you get on and the pros coming at like level 4 or whatever, I don't think it'd work. But either way.
The issue though is that although we were championing the potential format, I'm trying to find something on my laptop, of it being match play, and this isn't quite black and white, but there was potential. The guys that were out last was Alex Smalley and Matty Smid.
That's the risk. We talked about that last week's podcast.
I don't want that risk.
I know.
And I don't even want Nick Taylor and John Rahm.
I know. That is the biggest risk.
Having said that, the fourth
play.
group out would have been good. Rory versus Xander. I'd have a bit of that.
But it's impossible to predict the finalists.
Yeah.
You just can't. And that is the biggest risk with match play.
I've got one more thing
as
for
a
you.
viewing, because again, it's all about TV rights now. It's all about having people on the ground watching. As soon as you can't guarantee big name players, the whole thing falls down.
What about, before we wrap this up, we have, like they used to have in the olden days, a bit like boxing, we have a champion belt. Similar to obviously at the Open. It could be, I don't know what it could, maybe like a big WWE belt. And it starts off with Scotty, world number 1. So he's got the belt. And someone can challenge him. And then you have to accept that. So obviously you can't challenge him. You'll say, I don't want to play you, whatever. But Rory challenges him because, okay, 18 holes. If Rory wins, he's now got the belt.
Love that.
And then Bryson challenges him. Bryson loses, so Rory keeps the belt. And then they have a rematch. And yeah, I don't know. The belt, what would it be called? The Netflix belt. Netflix could host it, sponsor it, pay millions. It's got no jeopardy, has it really?
Be a belter.
Oh, God.
I think anyway.
Very good.
We have celebrated Aaron. Awesome win. Genuinely, it made a very mediocre championship much better, in my opinion.
I'd like to also apologise. I've sniffled a bit throughout this episode. I've got a sniffle. I think I had it last week as well. I also apologise for my rubbish M&S joke didn't land. That's my bad. I'll work on that for next time.
I think you should.
And I'd like to apologise to all the members at Huffwood Golf Club who are now going to move further down the leaderboard when I start entering comps and winning, picking up dubs.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, it's...
just a quick
last thing, on one more story quickly. It's embarrassing.
I've got something as well. Go on.
And so I played yesterday on my own. Got to the 8th hole, par 3. Put it on the green, 2-putt par. And got to the 9th tee. It was quite slow. And I was only doing 9 holes. I wasn't too bothered. But the guys in front of me said, do you want to join us? I said, yeah, I will do. So I'm only doing the 9th hole and I'll be out your way anyway. Oh, great. 2 nice fellas. I looked at me and went, are you Rick, you work with Rick Shiels, don't you? I was like, yeah. Oh, what's your name? I had to say, he couldn't get it out. I said, guy. Oh, yeah. And then him and his mate both parred the 9th hole, stroking next 2. And your boy here, guy, came for the bogey. So, look good for the team.
Representing the brand.
Yeah.
Very on brand.
Yeah. There you go.
Did you get a good tee shot or not?
No.
Great.
Sliced it right, Mr. Green, chipped on, didn't hold the putt.
Very quick one. This is straight down to this camera. This is a clip for social, but also very good for everyone listening. These are the 12 perks of winning the PGA Championship. So Aaron Rai just won the PGA Championship this week. He gets probably the best trophy in golf, let's be honest. The Wanamaker Trophy. Huge trophy. I believe it's £30. Amazing. Not £30 value, as in weight. He gets lifetime exemption. He gets entry to the other 3 majors for the next 5 years guaranteed. He gets lifetime membership into the Senior PGA Championship and entry into the Senior Open until the age of 65. Wow. Your own championship dinner, which happens the week of the PGA Championship for next year. He gets some prize money. He gets $3.69 million, which is pretty good. He gets a spot in the champions locker room. He gets 5 years. You get a 5-year PGA Tour card and 7 years on the DP World Tour. 100 official world golf ranking points. 750 FedEx Cup points. 1,500 President Cup points, which he won't get because he won't be playing in the President's Cup, and entry into the Players' Championship for the next 5 years. There's 12 perks Aaron Rai gets for winning the PGA Championship this week, but one perk, he can treat himself now. It's just a couple of new double gloves. I think he deserves it, which is pretty good. I would take any one of those perks.
Double gloves for sure.
Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Lots more to come, and we shall see you on Friday's episode of the hit takeover of the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast. Bye bye.